Hello, I'm Justin Duckham from the Talk Radio News Service, and welcome to Bias Bash. We have had a lot of discussion surrounding Baltimore, much of it relating to community policing, much of it related to urban plight, and economic programs within inner cities. Now, this is all very important, and honestly, you can't talk about the situation in Baltimore without touching upon it. But one of the big issues that has sort of flown under the radar is the issue of the over-militarization of police. Now, let's flash back to Ferguson. I was down there in the neighborhood when that took place, and it was a very jarring sight to see military-grade equipment going down typical American streets. We had a robust conversation about that. The country really faced that down, and we had pledges from the president to move away from that model of policing. Now, let's take a look at Baltimore. The situation in Baltimore is much greater than the one in Ferguson in terms of the militarization of police. I was down there last week, and whereas in Ferguson you could leave the neighborhood and go into other parts in St. Louis and still feel like you were in America, that was not the situation in Baltimore. I was in a swanky part of the city in Fells Point briefly, and it was a nice spring day in a little park square, but right in the middle there was a big Humvee. It seemed as if every corner that you turned down, you would see a similar sight, and it was one that really just boggled the mind. Now, while we had a huge conversation nationally about Ferguson, we are not seeing this being discussed about Baltimore, which is really odd. I mean no disrespect to any members of the police or the National Guard, but it really felt like I was in an occupied city. So this is something that the U.S. media needs to take a very close look at, and unfortunately they're not. And I think that's likely because this is becoming an accepted sight in America, and that is something that is, frankly, really troubling. For more on this and other media topics, tune in on 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. on Fox News for Media Buzz with Howard Kurtz. I'm Justin Duckham. Thank you for watching.